It's another day that ends in Y, so that means that there's drama online. So many of you probably saw the drama recently between the metal news outlet Lambgoat and Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse. Lambgoat posted an article saying Falling in Reverse canceled the show due to low ticket sales. Their source was "Trust us, bro." And then Ronnie responded saying that that was complete bullshit, that the concert was not canceled due to low ticket sales, and that Lambgoat is yet another lazy metal news outlet who write their articles with complete bias. If they don't like an artist, it doesn't matter if something is true or not, they'll write a headline slandering them. A bit later, Ronnie posted a screenshot from Lambgoat that they were apologizing to him for their fake article. That apology was fake. It was Photoshop. They not only didn't apologize, they doubled down in the comments saying they stand by their story. As controversy was growing, Tank the Tech made comments about it, I made comments about it, JD Delay made comments about it, and it was through JD Delay, actually, shout out to him, that I came across Jordeana Bell. She's been a writer for the metal industry for a long time. She has affiliation with both Lambgoat and Ronnie Radke, and given her experience, she has some grievances with how metal journalism is conducted today. And she was nice enough to join me for an interview to discuss everything involving this situation. The current war between Lambgoat and Ronnie Radke, the way many metal artists out there will slander artists they don't like, completely full of bias, with no regard if something they're claiming is true or not, and just a lot of the hypocrisy and bullshit that goes on behind the scenes of metal media. And with that said, enjoy our conversation on this topic and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Kind of a mess because Lambgoat's original article was bullshit, and then Ronnie posted a Photoshop of them that wasn't true. That's what JD reacted to, and then he got some things a little bit wrong. It's like, all right, we need to like sit down and kind of lay all this out and figure out what's going on.
I grew up in a really Latter-day Saint household, so I have the fundamentals of, this is respectable, but this is not.
Yeah.
But then I immediately left home because I fell in love with the band Boy, the bassist of Suffocate, and immediately when I was 18 started living with Ben Oram of All Shall Perish. Okay. So I went from Molly Mormon to like
straight to deathcore.
Well, living with these guys who literally on tour would do competitions of who could leave their shit in the most obscure places. Like they'd leave it in the venue microwave, and they come home with these hilarious stories. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what it's like. And then in 2009. Just because my boyfriend wanted to show me it wasn't all hookers and all this other stuff, which it was. It was. Those little scene, God's Girl, Burning Angels, Suicide Girls were all over the place, and they wanted to be buddy. And it's like, if I wasn't here, I know you'd be sucking my boyfriend's dick.
I know bitches were back around all the time. Like, I remember when Suicide Girls was so big.
Huge. And then you have like incoming freshman girls in high school who already knew their name for Burning Angel because it was their MySpace name. So I mean, it was, the underage girl thing was being pushed to every deathcore band where they're like, okay, this is a trend, and these girls are in my inbox lying about their age. So it was like the only ones that really came out about feeling taken advantage of were the ones who got rejected. And it was disgusting all around. But, to then be taken on tour and have to deal with the Lambgoat drama where it's like, that was a nightmare, man.
What was that one?
So, okay. There had been, and I had the original article up, but we were on tour with Life Ruiner. And I mean, I knew Life Ruiner, like the Olympic sports song, like the really heavy, hardcore, like quote core shit. But I wasn't as into it as I was like Kill Whitney Dead. Like I was a diehard Kill Whitney Dead fan, and I was all into like East Coast metal. So this whole hardcore thing was actually new to me, even though I had grown up in the Reno straight edge scene and I was rejecting Mormonism or the Latter-day Saint Church, and I was trying to be straight edge, and it got me in trouble. Yeah. But it got me into that industry and knowing the people in it because they were all crew members. They wanted to be besties with Reno straight edge and the Armed for Battle guys and Tony Medellin. So that happened, and all I know is that it was circulating on Lamgo that the current vocalist was the previous vocalist. So the original vocalist of Life Ruiner had a history of underage girls.
Okay.
And it was proven, and like it was this huge thing. He got kicked out of the band. They shut the band down. And then two of the original guys, actually, no, I don't think any of the original members took it up that like they're like, okay, we're friends with the original guys, but we're not in the band.
Yeah.
The new vocalist was so sweet, like big ginger guy, like jolly happy soul, and he's playing thumb war with everybody. I want to say we were at the Penny Arcade. I do think it was the Penny Arcade. And the weird thing is Lambgoat posted half of the tour. Like the tour wasn't even set in stone yet. Suffocate had just signed a Media Scare record, so this is all going through like the baby version of what would become the Industry Group, which would then split off to like Sumerian Records. Like Ash went off and did his own thing. So It was just the baby version of all that, like when it was all started and no one really had their shit together. So they posted half of the tour with half of the dates. And on that specific post, underneath the comment section, someone was like, all these guys are rapists. Like every last one of them is a rapist. And if you know anything about Lambgoat, you know they'll just post bare minimum information, and then whatever's in the comments section is the actual what everybody comes for.
Yeah,
because you can say he raped me under anonymity, and they're like, okay, that's got to be true. Like this was pre-Reddit, pre-4chan, pre all that crap. And this was also back in the day where if you sent a band dude your nudes, they had a top secret 4chan, just a little top secret information where they would put every girl's nudes. And
God.
So if you thought that your nudes weren't being seen, or like you thought isanyoneup.com was the worst thing that ever happened, I got news for you.
They're seen by everybody.
Right. So I'm pretty sure it started with like someone trying to just take revenge and be nasty about it. But we get to the Penny Arcade, and Courage Crew had taken it real seriously. They're like, we don't care who it is. We're going to shut this down, and we're going to figure out what the fuck's going on. Mm-hmm. So they come into the venue. I'm up at the merch table, and I'm on the computer because I have my merch sheets and everything like that, and everything going. And the guitarist of Suffocate comes up and is like, we just had our show shut down. And I was like, okay, like, do they know that this is all coming out of our pocket? Like, Media Scare's not giving us money. Like, this is a big mess. Like, everything's coming out of our pocket. We're literally driving a renovated airport bus. We don't even have a tour van. We have this really shitty van, and when we get to Arizona, it actually blows up on us.
Oh, shit.
But we get there, and like, they shut down the show. They're starting fights they have Life Ruiner meet them in the back of the venue. Like, all the guys are ready to get jumped. And I post online, I'm like, fuck this. Like, my literal bulletin title was, fuck Courage Crew.
Is that another band, or is that Media people?
That's a straight edge crew that is comprised of, like, big name dudes and, like, oh, man. What is the band that I'm thinking of? Basically, everyone that would go on to work for like Bring Me the Horizon and, big straight edge crew guys. I can name off a bunch of people, but I'll probably get my ass beat. But, and they wound up, they're really, really good people, but I understand why they took it so seriously. The problem is they were contracting information from the scene trend, and that's what I see Lambgoat is. I've always seen Lambgoat as like the scene trend bulletin board, where if like straight edge dudes and X24X or FSU or DMS or any of those crews that are all about dignity and pride, even now, like Madball, Hatebreed, Throwdown, Terror, like all those original straight edge bands, they don't like you. They're gonna beat the ever living shit out of you, and they've been successful. I mean, their clout has been used to defend bands like Fall Out Boy. Yeah. Like, literally, the beginning stages of their career were all about, no, you will respect this crew. And then you get to the metal industry, and then you have Walls of Jericho, where Candace is like, you're in Courage Crew, and I see your fucking shirt. Take it off, throw it in the middle, and we're going to set it on fire right now.
God damn. She was
so just sick of it. But, yeah, and I mean, I put that bulletin up, and then Pitbull Dan of Murder, Death Kill was like, you better take that down right now, or you're going to get in trouble. I was like, why? Because you're a bitch and you're going to go rat me out?
Yeah, what the fuck?
He did. Like, he did. And next thing I know, Taylor, the guitarist, is in my face. get that fucking shit off the internet or I'm gonna beat your ass. Like it was absolutely awful. And I had to deal with nonstop death threats and hate the rest of tour. And then we get to California, the guys go off and do promo, and then Baron and Pitbull Dan confront me. They're like, so did you have fun? Did you learn how real tour is and how serious it is? I was like, yeah, it's like fucking high school.
Yeah, so these grown men were threatening to beat your ass for a post.
It's just pathetic. And it was the same drama that I had to deal with back in like Reno straight edge days where you pissed off ex-Barcadia X, which most of them went off to become pastors. They beat the shit out of you at the next show. And it's like, you're like 24 years old. You're like 30 and even older. You're like 56 years old and you are pirating this mentality as like a record label head. Like what?
Yeah,
like what the fuck? And so I don't think anybody ever grew out of that mentality. But with Ronnie, I feel like it's a little different. I feel like Ronnie is always going to be the target of dudes that just want to be tough. It doesn't matter. And I think it's ironic because he's got so many tough guys that back him, like JD. I really dig JD.
Yeah, he's cool.
He jumped out at me first and he recirculated stuff. And when he recirculated it, you know, and chopped that little segment up, he's like, I'm sorry if I got you in any trouble. Because immediately after that, Lamgo came on and was like, she's never written for us. I'm like, I thought I made that clear. We're on the same network. We're in the same school bus. You're just in the front and I'm in the back trying to be quiet and trying to promote bands. And you're like, no, I'm gonna. Yeah. So I mean, it's a big mess of example that men are petty. They can be dramatic. If you give them a pulpit, they will misuse it. They will denounce the value of someone they don't like. And I've never understood why Ronnie was ever the target.
Yeah.
All that crap that he did in the past, I can name at least 4 bands that are equally guilty. And I can name one band that is full of like worse bullshit, worse allegations that are fucking true. And I know because I dated their manager and he gets away with it and everybody just loves him because that's who he is.
Really?
But Ronnie changes his tone, changes his theology and is outward about it. And now everyone's like, oh, he's a bitch. Let's pick on him. And
that's what I think. It's so funny that there's so many people in the metal and music industry who do so much worse shit that a lot of people know about, but so many fans like praise them and think they're great. And then a lot of people who have worked with Ronnie say that he's a good dude and is really nice. And then people online just still hate him no matter what.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. I'll never understand it other than it's like, do you know who Chuck Klosterman is?
No.
Okay, he used to write for Spin Magazine. He wrote a book called Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. And he's a big like music journalist. He's one of my favorites. And I really grew up obsessing over him and like Metal Mistress Julia. But he was pointing out, he's like, I remember this phenomenon when I was in kindergarten where everyone just started picking on this one kid. There was no reason for it. They were harassing him, sent him home in tears. And then the next week, everyone's best friends with him. Yeah. And I don't get that other than they want to be friends with Ronnie. They want to be in his group. They feel like his connections make him like a pop culture elitist or a borderline or whatever. And they want access. And because he's so exclusive, he just cuts them out. And it's like, I mean, especially because, he's not exactly wrong about how metal journalism has kind of deteriorated in value. Well, since the plague of fake news or whatever, everyone's just burnt out. Like, blessed are those who read if you have the brain capacity to do so, because everyone's burnt out for the very reasons we're talking about, where it's like you just lie and people can tell.
Yeah, it's the things that I know from behind the scenes for a lot of journalists. There's burnout. They just can't talk about some things they want to because of either fear of pushback from fans or their people they work with, or they have to push certain bands. But metal journalism has felt so restricted for such a long time, to where I noticed that one person will, like, example, falling in reverse when, like, their pyro was a little hot and singed them one time, and multiple news outlets were reporting like what a disaster this band is and how could this happen, and it was such a minor little thing that no one would even remember if they weren't blowing it up in headlines. And I have such a problem, as I said earlier, where you can hate a band if you want to, that's fine, but do it for real reasons. I don't understand why you would hate someone and not even bother to look into those allegations. Like with Ronnie, people saying he's a murderer, he's transphobic, he's a wife beater, he's done all these things, and it's super easy to look up that these things aren't true.
Yeah. Well, anybody
but
with common sense, but I think that's the big problem is I'm learning common sense isn't a universal tool.
yeah.
you
But
know?
what was I going to say? Another part of it with a lot of the metal outlets is that they're not getting as many views as they used to back in the day when like zines are really popular. So a lot of them are held up by ads and clickbait type of stuff.
Yeah.
So they have to kind of do that to generate some content. But I think an issue is when they don't go back and fix something they said that wasn't true. Like Lambgoat is standing firm on not apologizing about their last article,
Yeah.
where their source was someone told us. Is like all it says.
I want to know who it was. And, Dave and I got into an argument behind the scenes where I'm like, dude, literally put my shoes on, take the walk over the past. I've been in the industry since 2008. So since that, walk in my shoes. Now walk in my backyard where Dave Shapiro died and see how seriously end of the world it feels. Like,
wow.
I don't take it lightly that this is, it should be a rule, right? I feel like it should be an unwritten rule, and maybe you can help me come up with more rules as to foul play.
Yeah.
If the dude who booked your tour died in a horrifying car or plane crash, you don't get to talk shit about the tour. I don't give a fuck what's going on, but like that's a low blow in my opinion. It just is,
Did they talk shit about the tour?
No, just the fact that they're going off on the whatever choice he made to cancel that show and then the Virginia show, which I've seen other bands do it too. I'd have to get quotes from certain people, like Pantera's tour manager, be like, "Hey, Guy," his name's Guy Sykes. Did Pantera ever have to cancel a tour because it was within a 6-mile radius of the next night's tour and it was just too much at once? Or I'm sure there have like, how did you handle this political situation? Because I'm sure there's a lot of it. But the crazy thing is that it will eventually blow over, but it's always just going to be, it's like head lice. And it's something everybody gets, but for now it's a really big hassle and you got to miss a bunch of your education. It's like, hey, it is just bad news written by someone who just wants the clicks and wants to, leech on and suck the blood out of Ronnie Radke.
Yeah, it's like an easy target, like you're saying. It's the kid they decided to pick on for
no reason. Yeah, for no reason. And I feel like it's been his reputation for a while that everybody's kind of run with. Like, he's the scene kid, where metalheads are tough and hardcore guys are tough, but these fucking emo kids just gay. And it's like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, can we grow up? This isn't 2007. This isn't like, you don't look tough for talking down to somebody. You look hypocritical when you pick on him and brand him something he's not.
Yeah.
Because you want to be on the side of all these quasi hot bitches that are running their mouth on TikTok. That would make terrible mothers. I hate to say it that, but most of child neglect is due to being on TikTok too much, and these girls have a lot of free time. So there's really nothing attractive about them. But
when they're not sending Ronnie hate DMs, they're sending other deathcore guys like love messages and nudes.
Right. Right. Exactly.
It's a crazy thing. Like Ronnie has sometimes shared messages he's got from people like that. And it's like, what the fuck?
I'm sure because he's sick of it. Like every now and then, it's whatever. But and it's always the same demographic. That's what I don't think people are picking up on. He's not just being a bully. He's like, this demographic of female
Yeah,
is
yeah,
is just really hell-bent like Hitler on this one concept that's politically driven, and it's cry bully. They're cry
yeah,
bullies.
yeah.
So
And a lot of they do a lot of this like fake fan part too, where they're like, I love your music so much, but you said this and now I feel like unsafe, so could you please change? Like as a different subject, the Bloodstock Festival in the UK booked Slaughter to Prevail, and a
yeah,
lot of people have been like losing their shit over it, doing exactly what I was just saying. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna feel safe now. And like that is
Why?
such a bullshit yeah, like yeah. What's the list of shows where Ronnie Radke or Alex Terrible like went out and beat up a gay person? Like zero.
Well,
It's
it's
never.
more than that. It's ironic because we push such a like, as long as I have been in the metal scene, right? As long as I've been a metal fan who goes to metal shows, it does not matter what the vocalist thinks. Even Pantera, right? Pantera,
Yeah.
you get them drunk, they say some dumb shit. But I've always felt so safe, and I've met some of the greatest people, most of them, like the most loving, compassionate people at Pantera shows. Even
Yeah.
Suffocate. Like, look, if you go back in time to the Suffocate days when Ricky first started, and I love Ricky. I know he hates me, but I love Ricky because I saw him in the beginning at his most precious, most innocent, like his most virgin state of getting used to being on tour with four guys that were just dickheads, right? That were writhing in their own addictions, and he was the only straight edge one, and he felt completely underappreciated, and nobody told him anything, and he was sick of the secrets and the bullshit, to where he is now, where he is so respectful. He is a loving father. He is a phenomenal husband. Back then, he was getting on stage. He's like, yo, bitch out there with a cigarette, get your fat ass inside. You know, he had no problem getting up on stage and calling the annoying people out who were just
Yeah.
not his type of people. He still wanted you to feel included, but he wasn't afraid
Yeah.
to tell you, I don't like that you think it's okay to smoke at my show. Like, he had no problem
Yeah.
calling people. Now he has grown up and he's far more tolerant. I don't understand why women who are supposed to be, and I don't want to sound sexist like I'm into gender roles or anything like that, but it's like, I don't understand that women who want to be perceived as reliable sources of any sort of information are on here pushing this idea that Ronnie hasn't grown up. You
Yeah.
know,
That's
it looks like he
crazy.
has. It looks like he's a father. He is a loving companion to more than one person. To, you know, he's got a new girlfriend, but he still is a reliable source of compassion
Hmm.
and understanding to his previous wife. He makes stuff work.
That's good.
He is so funny. When he's trying to be a dick, he's actually trying to be funny.
That's
And
what
it
I
just
picked up
shows
right
how
away.
people are missing that, like, we're too serious, man.
Yeah.
It's
I've
sad.
always been I've always been such a sarcastic person, so I very quickly, upon noticing his social media, like he's trolling, he's being funny, and it's free marketing for him because it gets people talking and sharing it. Like instead of having to take
Right.
out ads or anything, he can make fun of people who are shit talking him, and that will get attention. And the whole
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, and it's on one hand, like I can agree that sometimes he can go a little too far. Sometimes he might say some things that I personally wouldn't say, but at the same time, he is getting an endless amount of this bullshit coming at him that isn't true. Like it's refreshing to see someone respond and tell these people, "No, fuck off, you're wrong." So even if he's
Right.
like not completely doing it how I would do it, I respect him for doing it, for standing up
Right.
for himself.
Well, that, and it's like, I hesitate to say anything about Anthony because, again, we're cats in the same box. But it's like, if you truly analyze the character of somebody who is going online to preach their opinion about music, right? If you truly love music, you're going to center yourself on a couple of things considerably. First of all, this is someone who has a lot of attention and a lot of traction. not only because of the raunchy side of his past, but that he was obviously released from prison.
Yeah.
You know, and he was released back into the industry, and he was even more loved.
Yeah.
And you have two different personalities going toe to toe. One who cannot forgive. And that's the bottom line. And I say this as an active Latter-day Saint who gets a lot of shit for being a Latter-day Saint. They're like, "Oh, you're a witch," you know, because you don't have the spiritual intelligence to look at a person and say, okay, it boils down to the way that they speak, and it boils down to the way that they act, and it boils down to the way that they cast.
Yes.
You know, and without sounding too unprofessional, Anthony got up there and said some really cutthroat verbatims where I'm looking at him a little funny, and it doesn't matter if I like Ronnie or not.
Mm-hmm.
That was some mean shit that he said. I mean,
Yeah.
God forbid he sinned at all, because he was acting like he couldn't give a fuck less if Ronnie lived or died. And that's the impression that I got, where it's like,
what really example was this? Like, what did he say?
Did you see his video? I think the video is called "This Guy Is Shit" or whatever.
Oh, Fantano's video. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantano and Anthony.
Yes.
So, I mean, it protrudes his character. And I'm one of those people who believes that if you have 50 great reviews on a band, like you've said wonderful things about Aesop Rock and Kanye and Marilyn Manson, and then you get to Ronnie and you're like,
oh, no, this is a problem.
He's a rapist.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you even talking about him then? Like, why, if you hate him so much, you just like,
yeah,
it rubs me the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
And it just goes back to the whole, I feel tough for doing this sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It bums me out, because I don't think that attitude or that mentality should be in existence. I think that's very cancerous, you know?
I completely agree. Yeah, it's the whole, like, you're expecting someone to have been perfect their entire life, even when they admit to their own mistakes and have made changes to become better people. It's still holding them like, no, you weren't perfect forever. And then adding on top of that, the things that were made up that aren't true. Like, one of the biggest facts about Ronnie that I can't believe people just gloss over is that the woman accused him of sexual assault. He sued her for defamation and he won. And that's not easy to do.
Right.
So, like, that says a lot, but people will still go, oh, he's a rapist and just whatever.
Well, it's crazy because Ronnie and I are both from Nevada. And Nevada is one of those places, and I say this as, you know, obviously I've made my religious statements and everything like that, but I'm also the daughter of a chief police, or a police chief. Sorry, chief. Yeah. So all of the horrifying things about Reno, I've known my whole life. And one of the things I do know is Nevada is one of those places where anti-sex trafficking is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
So in Nevada, if you're caught prostituting your 11-year-old daughter, I believe it's still a $5,000 fine and a felony, and you're let loose.
Jesus Christ.
So he grew up in Vegas. Reno is like the micro version of Vegas. I have not heard great things about Vegas. In fact, every time a local band from Reno has gone down to the Strip and played a show in Vegas, a hardcore show in Vegas, they've come back with horror stories about walking the Strip and like 5-6-year-old little boys handing out their mommy's calling cards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the epitome of everything you should hate. And to my knowledge and understanding, like, just if you go back and you look at the old videos of Ronnie, his personality, he's got a really pure heart. He might be very defensive of it with like an incredible amount of absurdity, you know, especially because he's been to prison and he's experienced the attacks.
Yeah.
But he grew up in the same place I did. And I mean, I know where the fighting. Well, I mean, if you know anybody from Nevada, when they're pissed, they get out of control when they're angry. And it comes from a history of defending themselves against people they love, turning their backs on them, and horrifying stuff like that. It's like, no, I'm not going to tolerate it. And I know I don't have to. I don't have to deal with you doing this to me. But with Ronnie, I think this whole situation where now he has to, by law, because that whole defamation suit set the standard that now anybody can say what they want. I could go on right now and be like, yeah, I knew a scene girl back at the My Chemical Romance show in 2004 who said that she saw Ronnie jerking off in the library. And it's like,
Yeah.
that shouldn't even be, it's not true. What I just said was a false statement. But if I said it with enough theatrical emphasis in all the right places, which, you know, big emphasis on the fact that from here on out, it's going to be harder and harder to distinguish. Yeah. Especially with AI coming out with all these prismatic testimonies and you're not even being able to tell who is who or what is the truth. I think you just need to make your best judgment about the artists that you love. If you love an artist, you love them unconditionally, and that needs to be your standard. Unless they truly do something raunchy, which I can tell you, there are fuckers in the industry who are guilty of doing awful things.
Oh yeah.
And people still praise them.
Oh yeah, it's either brushed under the rug completely, or the fans just ignore it, even if they do know about it. But 100%, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where we're at now. Where I mean, if you're a fan of Ronnie Radke and you truly love him, I think he's a great guy. I think he's pure in heart. I think he's got a history of overcoming immense adversity for a reason. I think he was chosen to overcome those things so he could reprove to people who are in similar struggles, get through it. Just dust it off. Don't worry about it. There is redemption for you and you are still loved. That's critical right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's just a bummer that people are trying to denounce it. I'm talking too much. So.
No, it's all good. No, totally. I completely agree with you. It was so funny for me coming into Ronnie and Falling in Reverse as kind of a metalhead outside perspective, because like I don't give a shit about what people think about a band or not. I'll give my honest opinion. So hearing everyone saying, or a lot of metal people shitting on Falling in Reverse or Ronnie Radke. But I went to the Aftershock Festival where they performed at. It was a great opportunity for me to check them out. Packed audience, like all people from like all different, you know, genders, races, everything completely packed out. And at least 3 times during the show, this horrible monster Ronnie Radke stopped the show to make sure people were okay and made sure like everyone was good, and then continued playing. I'm like, wow, what a piece of shit. Like,
oh, right. Deftones doesn't do that. I almost died at Aftershock during a Deftones set.
Oh God.
Like right up against the barrier. I had like a cut on my forehead.
Oh shit.
Fucking Ronnie, you're such a bad guy.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
You care too much.
Yeah, it's absurd. And like you said, there's people that fans love that are guilty of things they accuse Ronnie of that just hush under the rug or whatever. But yeah, when it comes to metal journalism, because you've been in that area for a long time, obviously. I mean, you've noticed some issues where a lot of it's really biased and lazy, which is a bad combination. I hear from other people, like some people are using AI just because they rehash each other's articles anyway. And
and I've never had luck with that. I tried to use it as my editor for my book I'm writing, and it destroyed the first chapter. I'm like, never again. Never again.
Yeah. But I was gonna, what do you think needs to happen for metal journalism just to be, I guess, maybe more respected or a little more honest? Because I think the big problem is smearing these bands. I hear a lot from other artists who are smeared all the time from like Metal Sucks or Metal Injection or everything.
Unfortunately, I don't think anything should be changed. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but I mean, I understand from being close with like the dudes from Metal Injection since the beginning. Like I've known Frank, and I love Frank. I love Frank very much. He's a wonderful guy, but he sees metal like his religion. He's told me, you know, this is my religion. And he's going to protect it with everything he can against people who he feels might, take it in any direction that makes him uncomfortable. That's what makes him kind of like the geriatric unit of metal. Yeah. But no, I think the best thing that metal fans can do is understand what's subjective. Understand, like, you learn these principles in school, right? Or I hope you did when you were in high school. You learn your resources, your sources, first person, second person. Just learn to, this is what I did. When I was in high school, I had one journalist that I subscribed to, and that was Metal Mistress Julia. Do you remember her?
Yeah, I remember her.
I still love her. Like, I love her to death. She was the person who emulated, hanging out with the bands and showing their good side or showing their asshole side. And, I picked and I chose from that. But when it came to the writing side of music, I really enjoy people for their style. Really be a critical thinker about, when you're reading something from Decibel or you're reading something from Lambgo, ask yourself, okay, what am I looking for? Like, why am I, or even think like Sherlock Holmes. Are you into the BBC Sherlock Holmes? Where
I'm
he's
not.
like,
I mean, I know who Sherlock Holmes is, but yeah.
yeah. Well, there are a bunch of quotes even in the book where he's like, this is my attic. I only put useful things in my attic, and only put useful information in there. Don't go looking for the drama. Don't promote it. And, Tommy Vex said this best. He's like, if people stopped reading, we'd lose it really quickly. Like, we wouldn't have to put up with it. But because people we're kind of engineered to either go and look because we want to be in defense of Ronnie. If you see something raunchy or something negative, don't go there. Ronnie said his piece about how tacky that part of our network has the capacity to be. If you're saying something negative about an artist, it's a double-edged sword. It'll reflect bad on them. It's going to reflect bad on you. But you just have to have the emotional intelligence not to click.
Yeah.
If you see it, just be like, fuck them, move on, scroll, keep scrolling, and don't dive into the gossip. But unfortunately, with that, it is its own self-filtration process. I do believe that is after enough times, you're like, like I don't go to lambgoat.com for my news.
Yeah.
I go to the Rolling Stone. I go to Billboard because that's where my old editor works. He actually, I think he still contributes to there, but he's now working with Seven Dust. So I really pay attention to what he writes because I admire him. But yeah, I mean, Lambgoat has the freedom to be there. In a lot of ways, I'm thankful because, they picked us up when we got dropped, and I still don't really know why he's supposed to tell me why, because I came in a bull rush. I'm just like, I just want to write.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have admiration for people who write well, and who push artists to the top. Even, the negative review stuff. Don't make them popular. You're not supposed to be popular or a celebrity for your opinion about music. That's gross.
Yeah, I'm sure the majority of artists I listen to have opinions that I wouldn't agree with and probably wouldn't want to end up in a long debate with, but still love their music. Don't take away from them at all. And for just to add on to top of that, something I picked up on reading a bunch of metal outlets is how many of them either don't cite a source at all or say something happened but don't show a video of it, or say fans are saying this artist did this, and it will be like 2 people from Twitter who have 5 likes on their post. It's just how subjective and manipulative media can be, not just for metal, for all media, but it seems like a lot of people don't realize it also happens in metal and hardcore music as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty trendy thing to just talk shit about someone you don't like. And it's funny because give them 5 years and they're the ones saying, "Oh, this album's so sick." This is the greatest album of all time. And it's like, no, remember 6 years ago when you said that they were all trash and gaycore or whatever you wanted to say was derogatory? You wanted to make them look like shit in your own immature stance on life. And it just, again, it's emotional intelligence. That's what I see is whenever someone posts something negative in general, you should always go first foot, okay, this is really immature. They better have
Yeah.
a damn good reason for talking like that. And the second foot is, okay, maybe they have a point, but the bottom line is this does nothing for my brain, you know?
Yeah. It's such a humans are so wired to like dive into gossip and drama, and you have to take a minute to be like, how much just negative shit am I fueling into here? And how much of it is just reinforced beliefs I already have that aren't being challenged?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just in general, like I've never had a non-dramatic experience with Lambgo. I remember when like Mike Tyner quit All Shall Perish and someone posted up something about my ex, and then someone, like, because it was anonymous, and then someone went under it and was like, hi Jordeana Bell, and I'm like, I haven't, like, and someone even told me, and then I had to go, now when you type my name in lambgoat.com, it comes up as this negative thing, and I'm like, what the
Really?
why?
Have you seen examples of bands being either blacklisted or shit talked on for bullshit reasons, like they didn't agree with a little thing, not they had a controversy or
You mean Nickelback?
oh god. What happened?
No, you know, I'm trying to think. Not really. I mean, there may have been some stuff on Warped Tour. I'm trying to remember. I know that's where all the drama usually happens.
Trauma and Warped Tour go pretty hand in hand.
God, so bad, man. All the secrets. They need to do a reality TV show about that shit.
That'd be great.
You know, I know they did roadies. I know the Warped Tour mentality. No, I mean, just I think Immure is the best example I have of a band that really got nailed by East Coast politics and elitism. I think that was a big thing, is poor Frankie. And I love Frankie. I've always loved Frankie. He is a good guy who has very strict, he's very strict. I don't know what kind of a brain he has, but he's very cut and dry. He's the only person I've ever met who is so like don't know, like no, and like, and it's weird because we have near the same birthday, so we're the same sort of Gemini. But he, you know, he cracked down on a scene issue, and it followed him to the death. And I don't like. I mean, he still has an incredible reputation for, you know, the elegant style that he presents, and, you know, incorporating certain entertainment things like the anime side or the video game side or the nostalgia side. But I mean, when I think of metal really hating on someone for no reason, I think of Frankie.
I could see that.
And I mean, to a really, like, truly a fucked up extent. Like I said, I'll have to send you the verbatims, but I'm pretty sure I clearly remember them telling him to kill himself.
That's insane. The actual article?
Like I feel like it was Metal Sucks. Someone at Metal Sucks, like they really.
Huge surprise coming from, but.
And it was really disturbing. Where they're like, wow, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, they see a weakness in a man, and instead of, I don't know, being mature about it, they just poke and poke and poke and poke. And then in this case, they just sliced him to the point where I think he did take a much needed break and just kind of separated himself from his peers, which is the best way to get creativity for writing. I don't know what they have under their belt, but I'm starting to get the pricklies that they might be working on something. I'm not going to say anything official, but it's like you can see him testing the waters. He's thrown out some really cool features, but yeah, I mean, that's a prime example of how it can really wear a person out. Another is Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
I just tried to get like tickets through Metal Insider, and they're like, no, he's not doing anything for me. Yeah, like he doesn't trust anybody. A third example is Alex the Terrible. I reached out to him for an interview, and he's like, sure, I'll do an interview with you for $1,000. I was like,
really?
That's fair. Like, I'm not going to do it, but that's fair. You understand? Like, yeah, I'm sure he's like, no, I know what the fuck you're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't trust you. Even Frankie, to this day, I'm like, hey, we're friends. I'm like, you want to do an interview? He's like, no, like, I have no desire to even have someone put my words out there so permanently and vulnerably, because more often than not, you're going to screw me. You know, and I'm just, it's emotionally draining.
Someone else will twist it.
Exactly. And I mean, even with that little it was like a 10-minute video with Ronnie, the way that blew up, that drained me of my energy, where I'm like, oh wow, I was not expecting that to be so controversial, to the point where my network's like, she doesn't even write for us. Right, I don't write for you. We're kittens in the same box, and you just scratch the shit out of my eyeballs. Like, you know, and it's,
we've never seen her before.
I know, we don't even know her. It's like,
yeah.
No, they twisted it. They're like, you're just, basically, they made it sound like I was just getting pissed that I wasn't getting paid because I just volunteer my services to build my portfolio. It's like, that wasn't the point of the video.
Yeah.
At all. That wasn't, I was pointing out how you're like, this was literally the last thing Dave Shapiro did before he died. And you're just like, I just don't understand. Yeah, this tour. I mean, they released the information on the 20th and he died on the 22nd.
Jesus Christ.
So, I mean, I guess I'm just too Mormon. I just am too nice. I need to be more of a bitch. I need to be more mean, you know?
You have this problem a lot of people don't have in the scenes called morals and integrity. A lot of people aren't aware of that.
F for effort. F for effort, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I don't know. I think we're in good hands, though, because a lot of people love Ronnie. Everybody loves Ronnie that matters.
But that's the thing. Like, it's like I said earlier, like, everyone who works in the industry, who knows how the industry works, they all either like Ronnie or don't have any problem with him. And it's people who are either not in bands or not in successful bands are the ones who are whining, saying he's so horrible, such a problem, and everything.
Right.
Yeah, and you can always tell someone's full of shit if someone's pointing out accurate criticisms of them, and their response is, "Oh, you're just jealous. Oh, you're jealous that we have more than you, and you're not getting paid." And like, no, if you're pointing out actual criticisms, that's the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's such a weird state of, like I've said, it's always had this talk of independence, staying true to yourself, like not giving a fuck what anyone thinks. And then there's this mentality of elitism, shutting down anyone who doesn't share every single same type of view. But I really feel like with Ronnie and with Alex Terrible, a lot of the times they don't create the controversy. Someone starts bullshit controversy and they respond to it. And then people act like they're melting down, having a problem.
And you were saying you wanted to ask me a question about Alex the Terrible wanting to do an interview.
Yeah, so you're saying that whole he'll do an interview for $1,000 thing. That's more so to like cut out anyone who's going to be like, "Hey, why are you a Nazi?" You're asking like stupid questions. It's to see who actually wants to do a real interview.
Well, I think, yeah, and I think it's because he knows his worth. I think he knows, like, and I think it's a good standard to have. Unless you're really tight with a musician and you're their friend, I don't think you should be getting a free interview. I think you need to really respect the fact that these are musicians who owe money. They signed a contract. You know, I don't know what kind of a contract they have with Ash, but I know, you know, Ash runs a tight ship. So, you know, I didn't take offense to it. I was just like, damn, that's respectable. Like, I don't have that pocket change, but, you know, it is what it is, though. I think Alex is a great guy. I married a Russian. I married an Armenian-born Russian. And, you know, I do know their culture and the way that they speak. They're tough. They're, you know, suka bliet to everything. And it's like,
come on.
Like, I get it. You know, they've got a very they stonewall. Like the definition of stonewalling is a Russian thing. So I get where women would be like, oh, that's really off-putting because they're not like other band dudes who will be like, hey, flash your titties and I'll get you backstage. It's like, no, these are men that aren't fucking around. Like they're in this for the legacy. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Alex for being that way, because very few artists run in to the industry saying, I know my worth. I know I fucking rock, and I'm not going to take any else. Not going to do it. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like what I've seen of Alex too. He's another person where I'm admittedly not the biggest Slaughter Prevail fan. I like, you know, so I think they're good, but he's another one where I just respect him as a person for being unapologetically himself and for obviously growing. He's another one where people will slander online saying that he shows no remorse for his past. I'm like, you watch any video of his, he's talking about improving yourself and becoming a better person. It's and then of course linking up with Ronnie Radke, that added more shit onto it.
I just don't get it. People are so judgmental. They're so judgmental. It's not even up to you to judge someone. You know, it's not up to me. It's not up to any journalist. It's not up to any fan to judge. I'm thankful that you reached out willing to clarify, because I know that was kind of a massacre. That was kind of a mess. So
yeah, like it was kind of a mess because Lambgoat's original article was bullshit, and then Ronnie posted a Photoshop of them that wasn't true. That's what JD reacted to, and then he got some things a little bit wrong. It's like, all right, we need to like sit down and kind of lay all this out and figure out what's going on. But I'm super grateful it happened, and shout out to JD for including you in there, because how I came across you and everything. But yeah, would you like to give any shout out to where people can find you now and stay up with your stuff?
Anything with Parasantheum on it. I have a blog. I think it's parasantheum.art.blog or art.wordpress or whatever. And then, I mean, Metal Insider is the best place, metalinsider.net. And I have all social networking. I have Twitter, Jordeana Bell. I have, don't follow me on Twitter though. Don't follow me on X, because I just attack people. That's what I do all day. Talk mad shit to orthodoxy assholes who want the extermination order on me. But yeah, I mean, anywhere. And you know, I have interest in any band that wants coverage. I would love to hear your band. Anybody who wants to send me their cool band stuff, the satanicmemorandum@gmail.com if you want me to listen. So
yeah, and I'll definitely will be checking out Metal Insider more frequently to get good news from what's going on out there. But yeah, thank you so much for joining and clarifying everything.
So much, Wyatt.
Yeah, it's awesome talking to you.
And we'll keep in touch. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you have an awesome weekend.
For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity. You can find us on Instagram, on Spotify, on all of the streaming platforms, on Bandcamp as well. We have our EP Rabid Psychosis out now. This October, we are playing with Carnivore AD at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood. October 16th. Tickets are $25, so hit me or the band up if you'd like one. We've got Wyatt's Metal and Dark Insanity merch available now in my shop. We've also got hoodies, hats, buttons, stickers. We even have Dark Insanity weed bags. Link is in the description of this video. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.